welcome back to the JGB Superstars Wrestling Podcast. Jackson, first of all, we got to thank everybody who listened last week. I'm amazed how many people we had.
Mason too, since he did.
Mason did. He subscribes to the MGB Wrestling Podcast YouTube page, so he got a notification when it actually dropped. Do you know how many listeners we had last week?
No, probably
27 people actually listened to the first episode. That's really good. So,
I thought it was 100.
No, it wasn't 100. Your original 205-year-old live, I think the first episode has like 81. And then it dropped after that. It was down to about 10 and sometimes 5 at the end. But we'll have to see how we do with this one. Hopefully we can keep a few more people. We did get a few nice reviews from people. They said they liked your stats in particular. I know you did a stat about Venice. But yeah, we had some good comments. So we certainly appreciate all those. Now, before we get into today's episode, there is a problem. And I didn't notice this when I looked at this. Not every episode is actually on that YouTube list, Jay. So we watched episode 23. The episode that's not there is episode 24. So I'm just going to quickly run through the matches. Primo defeated Chris Masters. That's the one we got mixed up last week. We picked the wrong event to begin with. Goldust defeated William Regal. And Layla and Michelle McCool defeated Maria and Melina. That match was only 3 minutes long. Actually, the first few matches were all under 5 minutes. So that would have been really short. And a fourth match, the main event, was, Matt Hardy defeats Kane by disqualification.
Cool.
So, anyway, we're on episode 20.
I was actually kind of thinking that Kane would win.
I guess because Matt Hardy got defeated by disqualification, so I'm going to guess Kane cheated then, right?
Yeah.
If Matt Hardy won, Kane must have got disqualified. So, perhaps he didn't let go on account. I'm not sure. We don't know because we can't watch it. All right, episode 25 is from September 29th, 2009. It's in Boston, Massachusetts at TD Garden. That's where the Boston Bruins play, JJ. And the Boston Celtics basketball.
I just need to stretch real quick.
You got to do a little stretch there? Okay. It wasn't broadcast, though, until November 1st. So I guess it's a few days later. I guess they record them ahead of time. Commentators, pretty much the same people as last time. Match 1 was Shad Gaspard with Eve Torres and JTG. I think that's part of his Crime Time tag team partner. Defeats Tyson Kidd with David Hart Smith, it says here. I know him as David Boy Smith Jr., and Natalia. At the start, Todd Grisham mentioned that Al Sharpton was one of the guest hosts. Now, I'm not expecting you to know who that is, Jay. He's a reverend who, I think he ran for president at one point. So I looked him up just to find out.
Wrestling president?
No, president of the US. When I Googled this to find out some more information, he actually appeared as one of the worst 5 guest hosts of all time from a Bleacher Report in 2012.
Cool.
If you're curious who the other ones were, I was. NASCAR drivers Kyle Busch and Joey Logano, the comedian Dennis Miller, the actor Ashton Kutcher, and Jeremy Piven and Dr. Ken. I'm not even sure who those are. I think Dr. Ken is one of the sitcom characters, so it might be a couple of actors from one of those shows, possibly as well. Tyson Kidd and Natalia, absolutely ageless, 12 years ago, and they look totally the same. I don't know if you knew this. Natalia actually married Tyson Kidd, or is married to Tyson Kidd. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
They didn't get married until 2013, so they got married 4 years after this. And also Natalia used to manage Davey Boy Smith Jr., it said, as well. And I'd missed this fact as well. I'd forgotten, you might have watched it at this point as well, JJ, although you might have only been about 3 at this time. Natalia was actually the SmackDown Women's Champion. I did not remember that at all. She defeated Naomi at SummerSlam, and she was the first woman in WWE history to hold both the Divas Championships and the SmackDown Women's Championship. So,
cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that. All right, what you got for the match then, JJ? Not very much, I don't think.
Mine is pretty related to the match.
Go on then, tell us what you got.
I got a kick to the leg.
Okay.
A kick to the pee-pee, and a kick to the leg. That's I pretty much.
So that was Tyson Kidd doing that, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I think Shad's actually like 100 pounds heavier than Tyson. So how do you always stop a big guy in a wrestling match? You kick his legs. And then when he doesn't have the vertical base, as they always like to refer it to, then he's not going to be as good. So that made sense. All right, you probably
also, he did. I'd say that would be pretty much I would say that it would be disqualified at that point because
you
the
can
ref
kick the leg.
kept saying stop.
He
Because
stopped him when
he-
he was trying to drag his leg into the ring post. You can't do that. You got to let go once they're through the ropes. But
you're disqualified, therefore.
you got to give them the warning and do the count. You know that. 1, 2, 3. You got to break before a count of 5.
I'd say you're disqualified immediately.
All right, come on. Have you got the finish then?
And now you gotta go to jail. That's what I was saying.
You're not going to jail for it. You might get banned from the company, or you might not get to wrestle another match. Who won? How did they win? You don't know because you were writing something and you missed it.
I do.
And then they showed a replay and you missed it as well.
I don't remember his name.
Luckily, I saw it. Well, the two people's names were Tyson and Shad. Shad was the really tall guy.
So Shad lifted up his
Tyson?
opponent, and then he went up to the top rope or something like that, and then he jumped down on Tyson, and then got the count.
Yeah, you kind of got the right things, but in kind of like the wrong order. Tyson was in control of the match. He climbed up to the middle ropes. It looked like he was going to do like a phenomenal forearm, like AJ Styles does. He dived, and Shad caught him, and then just slammed him to the ground, and then he pinned him. So it was kind of a quick ending in the end. It looked like Tyson was going to win, and pretty quickly Shad turned it around. Now, I
was actually kind of thinking that. Because he was way bigger.
Yep. Well, I thought Shad would be the favorite. He was the favorite for this one because of his size. Now, I know I mentioned you didn't know who Shad was beforehand, and I mentioned that he was actually in the news last year. So, Jackson, as you don't know the story,
in the news?
I'm telling you. On May 17th, 2020, Gaspard and his son were among a group of swimmers caught in a strong current at Venice Beach, California. Gaspard instructed the lifeguards to save his son first, which they did, but then when they went back to look for him, they couldn't find him. And then his body came out onto the beach a few days later, I think it was. So he died. You asked me how he died. He died from drowning, while he let his son be saved first. Now, what I didn't know, though, was alongside the U.S. Coast Guard, among the search team were professional wrestlers JTG, John Morrison, and Chris Masters, who we talked about in the first one. It said on May 19th, after searching 70 square miles, the U.S. Coast Guard suspended the search. I did look when on his because you asked how old he was as well. He would have actually been 40 this Wednesday, so he wasn't very old at all. He was 39 when he died. And also, I didn't realize this. I used to watch the TV show From Dusk Till Dawn, which I really liked. I watched that over the pandemic. He was actually in that show as well. Once I saw it afterwards, I was like, oh, of course. They have a lot of zombies in it and things like that. So he obviously looked very different than what he looks like there. But yeah, I suddenly realized exactly which character that was. Now, afterwards, we got one of my new favorite segments, the Ask the Divas section. So we had Natalya, Layla, Nikki, Brie, and Michelle McCool. What did they want to do when they grew up? Can you remember what they said when they were little?
What they wanted to be.
Yeah, what did you want to be when you grew up? Do you remember any?
I remember there was also the Bellas, too.
The Bellas run, yeah. Can you remember what they said?
They wanted to be a fashion model, I think.
And Nikki said she wanted to be a model like Cindy Crawford. Good, yeah. You remember any others?
No.
Natalya said she wanted to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
Layla, who I hadn't seen before, I didn't recognise her.
Cool.
She said she wanted to be a professional dancer. Nikki, you already got. Bree said she wanted to open her own flower shop. And Michelle McCool said she wanted to be a WWE diva. And here I am, living the dream. Except she said it in the most monotone voice that I didn't even believe her. She's like, yeah, WWE diva, and here I am, living the dream. I think they should have edited that out. It didn't sound too good. They also asked them, as you're on the go all the time, how do you manage to keep a relationship? Mickey James said that she didn't. Alicia Fox said that she uses a BlackBerry, which you don't really... Do you know what a BlackBerry is, Jay?
No.
It's kind of like a phone, I guess, for sending messages and stuff. But yeah, you don't really see them anymore. Eve Torres said it was a trust. Beth Phoenix's comment, because you recognize, you were like, oh, that's Beth. I didn't recognize this at all. She said, I've learned not to mix business with pleasure, and I have one word for you, Santino. I'm assuming she's talking about Santino Morello, but I do not understand that reference at all.
Me either.
They then cut to the Batista is Back promo. They also had Randy Orton versus John Cena in a Hell in a Cell promo. Check your local listings. I guess in those days it wasn't on the network, so I guess you'd have to call up your pay-per-view people and get those. But that looked kind of strange to me. They also showed pictures from a tour to Mexico, France, Spain, and El Salvador, and it said that some of the places they only go once a year, so the fans are really good. That made sense to me why you'd have the roster split at that point. You could have one group go to North America, you could have one group go to Europe, and then you can get more fans actually seeing the wrestlers. So it makes sense why you would.
And you could go to the North Pole and see Santa.
I don't think they go to the North Pole. They didn't mention North Pole. No, they mentioned El Salvador. They probably only go to once a year. But yeah, the fans in France and Mexico were certainly very excited. You could tell that. All right, anything from that first match before we go back and watch the second?
No.
Match 2 was the ECW segment. It was Sheamus versus Tyler Reks. I gotta admit, Jackson, I didn't know who Tyler Reks was, so I had to look him up. He's also known as Gabe Tuft and Taj Milano.
Also, there was a long promo before the third match.
We know that we haven't even started the second match yet. Hold on.
Don't care.
We're not even there. FCW Florida Heavyweight Champion in 2009, and he was also twice FCW Florida Tag Team Champion with Johnny Curtis in 2008 and 2009. So around about that time before he moved up to WWE. At Gabe Tuft on Twitter, it says that he's WWE superstar, Tyler Reks, and founder of Body Spartan. I also saw him.
What even is that?
I had to look it up. It's some sort of fitness thing. It's like an app on your phone. I think you can watch other people exercise and you can try and keep up with them at the same pace. But as far as I could tell, I did look it up though. I'm glad I did now. I also saw he tweeted Jackson on May 20th, 2020. Goodbye, my friend. I will see you again when that day comes. Hashtag rest in peace, Shad Gaspard, who we talked about earlier. Now, it did say for this match was taped on 28/9/2009, so it was actually on a slightly different day. So this was not the same, although we're watching it and it looked like the same crowd, this is actually not the same one. So this wasn't filmed in Boston, actually, at all. I guess looking at the different colours, it kind of looks blue, so I'm guessing this might be the SmackDown setting, perhaps. That might be why they show it a few days later.
So for the first match, every single match of the first episode that we reviewed of Superstars, I saw that it was blue and red.
Okay. Oh, because it's a combination probably of Raw and SmackDown. That would kind of make sense. So I guess they film on different days and then they put it together to make this one show. All right, this was kind of a quick match, JJ. So let me see. Did you manage to get anything down in the under 5 minutes that it lasted?
Smack to the face.
Who? Who smacked who to the face?
Sheamus.
He smacked Tyler. Okay. That's it?
Yeah.
Who won?
Sheamus.
How?
I don't know. I didn't see.
You missed the end again. You didn't even write anything down. He did, I thought it was the bro kick or whatever it is, but no, it was some sort of other kick that he did. It ended so quick because I wasn't expecting this match to end. It was pretty even, but that kick just totally took out Tyler and he was on the ground. It was pinned 1, 2, 3. Boom, that was it. That was the end. You got to remember as well for these that they show a replay. So if you miss the finish, you got to make sure that you watch the replay so you can see exactly what happened for this one as well. All right, some of those promos that you were talking about, there was Hell in a Cell. It was kind of a long promo. It mentioned some of the matches. So can you remember some of the matches that are coming up? Now, this was actually filmed. I should have mentioned that. This was actually filmed. The next event will actually be the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So this is during the week, and then at the weekend, it would have been the Hell in a Cell. Who's some of the matches then that we saw?
Undertaker versus CM Skunk.
CM Skunk, yep.
And then there
shout out for people who listened to episode 1 there. Yep.
The Legacy.
The Legacy, good.
Who cares? I don't know.
What do you mean you don't care? You love this tag team. I'm surprised you knew the Legacy.
DX.
D Generation X. I was like, you're bound to remember them. And they also mentioned that... who else was it? I thought there was one more match that they mentioned as well. I can't think who it is then.
Oh, John Cena versus Randy Orton.
John Cena versus Randy Orton, of course.
That was in the first thing, and Dad doesn't remember.
They had Randy Orton promo.
That was like 4 days ago.
And then actually, Jerry and Michael came out, and then they even had more John Cena promos talking about Randy. I'm not sure what that event was, but it showed you Randy getting his arms stuck under the cell. Now, I don't know what that is. I tried to look, because when I deliberately didn't want to look too much on Cage Match, because I don't want to know the results for Hell in a Cell 2009. I actually asked you, I was like, these promos are really... I actually watched this morning, and we're recording this in the evening. And, well, I have research to do as well, so I wanted to look. I was like, these are really cool. So I asked you, I was like, do you actually want to review the pay-per-view as well? And you said yes straight away. I said I think
That's
we should
because I want to do some editing.
I want to see, though, kind of like...
the whole entire podcast.
I want to see, kind of like with Mason, though. I don't think we should do the whole event, but I certainly think we should pick... I think you can pick the 3 matches that you want to see the most. Right now, I'm going to guess it probably is the John Cena, Randy Orton, CM Punk versus Undertaker, and probably D-Generation X versus Legacy. But we'll see.
I probably think D-Generation X and probably John Cena versus Randy Orton. Those are the only 2 I'm thinking.
Okay. Well, there might be another one that you possibly want to see. I can't believe that you don't want to see Undertaker in Hell in a Cell, but anyway, never mind. We will see. Whether we'll release it as a bonus...
Unless it's going to be Triple H versus Undertaker Hell in a Cell.
It's not. It's CM Punk. We already said
that.
Oh, you'd watch it if it was that. I got you. So I don't know if we're going to release this as a bonus episode. Or if we're just going to release it as like our regular... I don't know if we have a day yet, Saturday or Sunday. I think we'll just have to see how it goes.
No, the day gets stopped editing. And
we will figure it out. What other things did I see? Oh, that's what I saw, Jay. I was kind of looking up some things because I was trying to find out which match it was. I found out on Cage Match now, you can type in both wrestlers and it tells you how many times that they've actually fought. So it only shows you their matches. So, let me guess. Let's see if you can guess then. How many times certainly on WWE, or listed on Cage Match, have Randy Orton faced John Cena? It could be part of a tag team match
10.
as well. 81 matches. I was like, what? So I deliberately made sure I didn't see any spoilers, and I tried to look for the later matches, and I couldn't find it. The first one is Prototype and Rico Constantino defeats Bobby Eaton and Randy Orton. Now, you'll notice I didn't say John Cena anywhere there. So I had to look up to see which one it was. John Cena's original wrestling name was Prototype. You can actually watch a promo of his on YouTube if you type it in. He's exactly the same as John Cena, as you'd recognise now. One thing I did like, though, JJ, he described himself as 50% man, 50% machine, and he said his opponent is 100% fatality. Like he's going to die. I was like, oh, yes, I like that. John Cena was always really good at cutting promos. Do you actually want to watch the promo?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pause just for a second. You can come and watch, and then you can describe what you see on the promo if you like, Gordon. All right, you just watched the promo. It was only like a minute and a half. Any thoughts?
No.
So what did they show? What did you tell me? You told me you thought, because you saw this that says 1999 on the bottom. So what did you tell me?
I thought that he did his first match in 2002.
And I said first match for WWE. So this was actually when he was wrestling for UPW, which I don't know. I haven't heard of UPW, so I'm not sure for that one. But didn't you think he looked pretty much the same?
No.
How was he different then?
His hair.
On that first promo he cut, he had blonde hair, which looked kind of strange. But when he was cutting his promo, when he was stood up and he was like the Machine and all that, I thought he kind of reminded me a lot of John Cena. All right, match 3, non-title match. As you don't have much, Jay, who's it between?
Miz and Kofi.
It is. Now, I actually tried looking. I said earlier you can find out how many times they face each other on Cage Match. So I was curious to see how many times Kofi and the Miz had faced. And when I looked, it didn't even have this match listed. So I don't think that's very accurate when you come to do that. It looked like originally their first match was only a couple of weeks before that, but I don't think that was true either. All right, go ahead. Tell us about this one.
Boo and a yay.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
That Kofi won.
Uh-huh. So that was the yay then, right?
No, that was the boo.
Why was that?
And the yay was when Jack Swagger attacked Kofi Kingston.
All right, so we're skipping a little bit here. So Kofi Kingston got the win. What about some of the things that happened in the match?
I don't know.
Why do you even have a pen and paper? What were you doing with those? What about the funny moment, like when he was trying to hurt Kofi's leg and he kicked him in the butt and he went over the top rope? That was pretty good, right?
No.
No? Miz was trying to injure his leg and he kept diving onto it to try and hurt it, but Kofi managed to reverse it. It was a pretty solid match. Nothing that different from what you'd see in 2020.
Only when Miz wins.
I don't know why you were cheering for Miz. Miz was definitely heel in this. Kofi was definitely face. For some reason, you wanted The Miz to win this one. I was all for Kofi, and I guess I was happier. But yeah, you're right. After the match, Jack Swagger came in and took Kofi out because he's going to be part of the triple threat match at Hell in a Cell. And we just realized something, or I realized something. I'd literally just cancelled the network a few days ago. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to watch Hell in a Cell or not. I could always restart the membership, but there's not going to be on there's no pay-per-view in 3 weeks. So I was like, I'll cancel it, and then I'll just start it up again in 3 weeks. So I don't know. There are a few matches on YouTube we could watch, but I don't know if it's everything that we want to see. I didn't see the D-Generation X match, which I think was one you wanted to see, right?
Can I guess how many Miz and Kofi?
You can, but I don't think it's accurate. I saw how many it said on Cage Match, but I don't think it's accurate. How many?
I'm going to guess 100.
You went way too high. You should have gone closer to your last one. 21. According to that, anyway. So I don't even know, because sometimes the New Day are part of a tag team. Well, I guess actually, Miz has been part. Who's Miz's tag team partner?
He has Morrison and the other guy
Yeah.
that copies everything.
Oh, I
that
forgot
he
about
does.
Mizdow, yeah. I don't think that was in 2009, but that'll be fun to watch him again at some point. Yeah, John Morrison, certainly. So I guess he probably has fought with the New Day as well, so I guess that's possible that they might have faced each other in tag team action as well. Do you want to guess how many matches The Miz has had so far, according to Cage Match? This includes some indie matches as well.
I'm probably going to guess about 50.
You guessed 100 matches just against Kofi, and you're only guessing 50 in his whole
100.
career? He's been wrestling for over 10 years now in WWE.
Okay, let me think.
You'll probably say like 6 trillion now or something equally silly.
A Googleplex.
Nearly 2,000. He's at like 1,950 something, I think it said. So I think it's actually 1,962, I think it was exactly. So by the end of the year, he might have actually had 2,000 matches. And like I said, I think some might be missing as well. So he might have already had 2,000 in his career. Perhaps some of his early indie matches. I've never seen so many pages on Cage Match for one person. Like, normally when I look at my indie wrestlers, probably because they haven't wrestled as long, you only sometimes get 1, 2, or sometimes 3 pages. This went to like 10 pages. I was like, whoa, wonder how many matches he's had. So that was kind of cool. Anything else to finish this one up then, JJ?
Gotta think of a finish. Water balloons. That should be our finishing now.
Alright, water balloons. Boom.
Hey, you can always say water balloons.
I have to say water and you say balloons?
No, I have to say water balloons and you have to say water balloons.
Okay.
I think I just
Who says it first?
Me.
Alright.
Since I'm the owner of the podcast.
Okay, and I say it second. Alright, go on then, let's do it properly so we're ready for week 3.
Water balloons!
Water balloons.